1, 2, 3.
What is up? We were just watching Fashion Week, and so we were talking about that. Don't know if there's any fashion fans here, but yeah, no, we were watching. Aiden wanted to know what we were watching, but we were watching Milan Fashion Week. We just finished watching the Tom Ford show. Today we watched Moschino, GCDS, and Tom Ford, and then I watched the shit. I missed Prada. I can't remember. Oh no! I missed Prada, and then I watched the show, and then we watched those three together. Watched a couple yesterday, but yeah, no. So first was Haute Couture Week in Paris. That kind of like kicks off everything. It's a lot of like avant-garde type shit.
Yeah.
Like the MM6 Maison Margiela. That's who I watched this morning.
I'm out of my element, right? I don't know any phrase or word that is coming out
This
of your
is
mouth.
what I feel like when you start talking about video games.
I keep going. I'm not going to stop you, but
Maison Margiela was also in Haute Couture Week and did that really cool show that we watched with all like the smoke and the French. You know what I'm talking about? Like, like weird. That show was really cool. Yeah. That was Haute Couture Week in Paris. And that kind of kicks off Fashion Month.
Can I stop you?
Yeah.
We need to talk about the style that everyone's going with. Emma, the show we watched just now, or the one before, the show we just watched now is actually really well done.
Yeah.
The show before that.
Tom crushed it.
What did we watch before that?
GCDS.
Guys, the show started pitch black. And Chucky came on, said a sentence for us in his old Chucky voice. It went back to black. All the lights came on, and nice, beautiful music started playing as they were walking.
Yeah, some guy comes out and starts ripping the grand piano.
I was like, okay, like that was the most confusing thing ever. And then as the show keeps going, they have this graphic tee that I don't know what it says, but it's got this big Chucky logo on it.
It said GCDS, I'm a friend.
But as everyone's wearing these nice avant-garde, like beautiful art pieces on their body.
Elegant, yes.
Yes, actual art on their body. And then you've got people walking around in graphic tees with a Chucky picture on it.
I liked the Dracula one.
Dracula one was pretty
I'm
cool.
going to send Aiden pictures of all these things so you can edit them in so people understand what the fuck you're talking about. And if you're listening, then just listen as well as you can to how we describe these things. But the Dracula one, I thought worked really well because it was all bedazzled. It was like a corset graphic dress thing. And the show was very Dracula-esque. Like there was black and like the red curtains and the big grand piano with the beautiful music coming out of it. And it's all like a little Phantom of the Opera-y, little, you know what? That's what I was saying. I was like, it worked so well. And then the Chucky, I was like, I don't get it. But just because I don't get it doesn't mean it didn't have a meaning to it, you know? I don't know.
And
I try not to hate on the designers.
This is where I have to kind of hate on you because I try so hard to understand everything that goes on in your fashion sphere. I try so hard to be up to date with trends or what is happening, and I try to act like what is happening is cool and hip. And when I turn on anything esports, it's immediately, this is fucking stupid. Why would anyone want to watch this? These guys need to go outside. Why can't you try to understand my stuff?
I try to understand some of it, but the esports thing is hard for me to grasp. I struggle with that one. I really do.
I don't blame you. But I try hard.
I got really into your racing world and all of that.
Okay,
kind
but
of stuff.
Racing isn't.
But I learned all the stuff you were talking about, all the names, all the people. I got into it. I get up with you early as fuck in the morning to watch them. Like
that is something that you could understand is enjoyable. Like you, as much as
I don't enjoy it as much as you.
Yeah, obviously. But as much as you, what I'm trying to, my point with the esports stuff is, I don't understand fashion. I'm trying to understand fashion, but I don't. And you don't understand esports, but I don't think you try to understand it.
I just think it's too far off for me. I have a hard, and I think this is where I'm like,
you go really boomer when it comes to esports.
That's where I'm like, I think it's just I have a hard time understanding why.
Go ahead, talk your shit.
But I don't know. I'm trying to think about how I need. Because again, at the end of the day, you're not hurting anyone. If you want to play fucking Rocket League for a living, bro, live your best life. Go play your Rocket League for a living. I don't really care. I just don't understand, why it's fun to watch. I don't know. In my entire life, I was friends with a bunch of boys, and you know what they love to do? Play video games and watch each other do it. It's the worst and most boring thing ever to do. Mind you, they all sucked at it. They weren't good like these guys who do it for esports or whatever. But
so I think
I
that's
don't do that.
I think that's the fascinating part about it. And you could even go deeper into if you just want to look at people that just make content for these games that are not technically esports or professional players. I think someone like you would understand that way more just because they're an entertaining person. You're not necessarily watching for how good they are at a game. They're just really entertaining.
And I think that's it.
You get that point. But I think what's hard to grasp on the professional level is, these guys aren't entertaining in a way that they're making you laugh or whatever. They're entertaining in a way where the things they're doing is just it's truly like watching a hockey game.
I was gonna say,
when me and Dad were watching the hockey, you're like, fuck, these guys are so much faster than I ever played. It's crazy how good these guys are. And it's kind of the same
I get
way.
You, but I even think about I don't really enjoy watching regular sports either. And every once in a while, you can get me into a game that I get really invested in. The NCAA championships last year, I was full throttle in for Caitlin Clark, bro. And I hadn't watched a single basketball game, men's or women's, that year. And I just was a diehard fan all of a sudden. I watched that game so intently. I was there.
You could understand that people playing at the peak of their ability, it's entertaining.
And
it's very entertaining.
On the championship game, it's just there's so much energy.
When there's stakes on the line and there's people, diehard fans cheering for both sides that add energy into the mix.
I would love to watch some of the NCAA games. Let's watch Caitlin rip it up.
Yeah,
she's such a kick-ass
dude. I'm always down to and people
support the girls.
I don't even obviously okay. That is gonna sound so bad. I was gonna say it's not just the girls, but obviously I support the girls. I don't want to sound like an asshole. I support the girls, but what I was trying to say is, professionals in any right. I just have so much respect for how much grind goes into being a professional of anything.
Yeah, I mean, and athletes. Okay, I'm going to preface that I don't think athletes should get paid as much as they get paid. So ridiculous. But I do have to give them respect because, no, it's a toll on your body.
It really is. And it's non-stop.
Because I think about how much of a toll 7 years of just AAA hockey took on my body.
That's a high-level hockey. Imagine taking it up 4 or 5 steps.
That's my point. And it hurt me.
Yeah.
I still have residual issues from injuries.
I have so much respect, and even before I started watching esports, I had so much respect for professionals, in general. And I think when it comes to it, Rocket League is a perfect example. When it comes to a game that I have played for 6-7 years now, and I've put plenty of hours into it. Almost a sad amount of hours into it. I'm not even going to say how many hours I have in it because it's sad.
Nerd.
But to know what is possible, if I were to, obviously I don't have the skill, but if I were to, grind 12 hours a fucking day and play nothing but Rocket League, you see what that could look like with these players that, that live and breathe what they do.
I think that's why I have a hard time with the esports thing, because all of the respect I give athletes, there's not really any of that to give. Oh God, I sound like such an asshole.
It is very, I'm going to let you say it, but it is very boomer to say, yes.
But you're sitting on a computer. If you, in my head, if you, an athlete and an esports athlete, spend the exact same amount of time training for whatever they're doing, esports is sitting the entire time on a computer for every single one of those hours staring at a screen. An athlete is doing whatever the fuck they're doing to train for whatever fucking sport they're doing. I don't know. And that just can't be good for you in the long run. Like, don't get me wrong. You're great. You're a great video game player and whatever. But, like, that just...
And I agree
what?
with you.
Like...
And this might just be me coping for my esport and dogging other esports. But I really do think Rocket League is... As much as those guys do spend their time, a lot of their time, in front of computers or whatever, and grinding to be better. Rocket League is the only esport I've seen where, body health is a very important part to like their success, and like being, like mentally okay, and you know what I'm saying, like eating the right food so you're mentally prepared for whatever. Rocket League is the only game where I could look at a group of nerds on stage and they just look like a bunch of guys that go to the gym, a bunch of college kids that go to the gym. Whereas an Apex Legends or a Dota, or I don't want to rip on those games, but you look at some of those guys on stage and they look like me, like worse than me, like just fucking twigs, just sitting there and that's all they do. And I do think that is very unhealthy.
I'm like, in the long run, that can't be good for you.
And I agree with you.
Like,
I think there is a balance, and it goes with every sport. Like,
how do those guys pick up girls? What do you do for, like, when you're on a date? You're like, so what do you do for a living? He's like, oh, I play Rocket League.
So, funny enough, women's Rocket League, they actually... like esports for women's is actually like a thing now, and pretty...
Oh, of course there has to be esports for women. We're not even playing physically anything, and of course there's a specific women's league.
Emma, we've had this in chess for millennial. You can't.
It makes me so... Okay, chess is an old fucking game.
And it's
that's fine. But Rocket League is relatively brand new compared to chess, and you're gonna tell me that, like, in the generation that it was created in, we couldn't have done like an all together kind of thing?
In my opinion, there isn't, at least in video games, there isn't enough pull from the female audience to even have like their own league. I don't even think that should be a thing, because there isn't a big enough, in my opinion. I feel like video games are growing towards like a more gender neutral thing as we're going forward. But to this day, I don't think there is enough pull for women to have their own league. But
why do they need their own league? Why can't they just play with the boys?
But I think that's the problem. There was, and I could be dogging something that never happened, but I can remember a woman, like a really good girl Rocket League player. I can't remember her name or anything. But I remember her trying to get on a team, and no one, a bunch of 16-year-old, 17-year-old boys don't want to pick up the fucking chick, like, exactly.
Is that really a thing still?
Emma, they're high school boys, like.
For fucking serious, is that really a thing?
I think so. I
am sad if that is still true. It's a fucking video game.
Emma, and I don't think it's because they think they're bad at it. And like I said, I think it's just high school boys that are just like, ew, like, girl, like, get out of, like, this is our sphere. Like, get out of here. I don't think it has anything to do with her not being good enough. You know what I mean?
So not only are they sad, pathetic nerds, but they're sexist, sad, pathetic nerds.
Emma, I just think they're high school boys. Like I said, if this was a 30-year-old man doing this, it would be the most disgusting thing ever. You're a grown man. Grow the fuck up. These are kids. They're actual children. Like, literal children. Let them make mistakes.
Sexist nerd children.
Let them make mistakes. They're actual kids.
I just think that's so fucking wild that we still, like...
But that's how they learn. That's how they learn to be better. They make shitty decisions like that and get destroyed on Twitter for it. And they learn to be better. That's the hard... That's
sad.
The thing I think is really hard with esports is you get all of these disgustingly good people that are all very young and don't know how to handle public pressure or going in a building and performing in front of 50,000 to 100,000 people. Like these are kids we're talking about.
That many people go watch these guys play Rocket League?
I'm more so when I say that League of Legends, I think peaked at like 2.5 million viewers for Worlds last year. Yeah. And these are children playing these games. Like, that is a lot of pressure for a normal person, let alone a fucking kid. You know what I mean?
I just don't think children should be famous for playing video games. We should not be glorifying a 16-year-old throwing his life away for a video game.
And the crazy thing is,
the 30-year-old.
I'm going to go into Rocket League a little bit. I'm so sorry. But there
are 90% women viewers.
Yeah, they're going to hate.
Fuck me. Next episode.
But
where's Power Hour with Emma?
Last year, they had the age limit for joining Rocket League at 15, which everyone was saying like needs to be raised. Like I feel like 15 is too young to be doing anything professionally. Anything. I think 17, 18 should be the.
That's why I always feel bad for child actors.
Yeah. But get this. This year, they lowered the age to 13. So now you could have a team of literal middle schoolers competing for hundreds of thousands of dollars.
These kids need to go to school, not play Rocket League and League of Legends and whatever other fucking stupid game. Go to school.
I
socially interact with your peers. Grow up, and then truly, when you just said like if it's a 30-year-old guy, I'm like low key, I would prefer us be talking about 30-year-old men and not fucking children. That's wild to me.
And I think that's when I enjoy like older games like Smash Melee. Like all of the guys that compete for those games are
older,
all old, 30 years old, 28. You know, like grown men that just this is what they did as kids, and they still have that fun. You know, they've all got their own jobs now, make their own money.
All men are children. This is the conversation we were having earlier.
Yep.
All men are kids. In some way, shape, or form, they're all children.
But I think that's why I enjoy like those more niche esports, because
that's fair. But yeah, no, the idea even that like, and I'm talking so out of my realm here because I am not a parent. But I don't know if as a parent I could let my child do that. Does that make sense? Like I think I would. I mean, play video games. If you like playing video games, bro, rip it the fuck up. Do your thing. But don't come to me at 13 years old saying, Mom, I want to professionally play video games. Like, son, go to school.
My kid's going to school.
Go to school.
But if
you need to play with your peers, you need to try other things other than video games. Like, you're not going to be a professional Rocket
Leaguer. I agree
with
you 100%.
If at 18 that's still what you want to do, then that's fine.
If my kid's got the talent and he wants to go, he qualified for a tournament in Europe for a week, you know, just like my dad sent me to Chicago for a hockey tournament. It's no different.
I just think that's way too young. If my son came to me at 16, 17 years old,
I was going to Canada and like at 10.
I just feel like it's different. I don't know, maybe I'm a boomer, maybe I'm weird, but I just feel like it's different. Like I just do. Like you're sitting on a fucking that's bad for your brain.
But you're going okay. I 100% get you when you say like you're just sitting at a screen like in your bedroom, whatever. But when you're going to compete at a LAN, at an event, like you are surrounded by so many people, interacting with so many people.
And again, I just think that you're too fucking young. At 13 years old, when you went to Canada, were not playing for 50,000 people. You were playing for the 14 people in the stands that were the other team's family, jackass.
And I also wasn't playing for $100,000 either.
Exactly.
So.
You were just playing something because you enjoyed doing it and you really wanted to go. That's my point. It's like I'm not. You're so young. You have no development. You have no business being on the internet spewing thoughts because your thoughts aren't even fully formed. You have no business having that much money. You have no business being in front of that many people. Be a fucking kid. What happened? Why is it so overrated to just be a child nowadays?
I just think being
like the 13-year-old girls who are using retinols on their face, like anti-aging treatments and this and that, and luxury brands. I'm like, be a kid, go skin your knees, like just enjoy not having to care about things for a second. Like you have your whole life to worry about all of that shit and to pursue all of these things. And just be a kid for a second.
This actually is such a perfect segue into a topic I wanted when we were in the car the other day. I wanted to tell you about just like the new technology coming out, new technology stuff. But it's a perfect segue. And what I was going to say to what you just said, I just think it's different. Like when you were growing up in 2004, 2005 is a lot different than growing up in 2024. Okay,
I was 6 years old in 2005.
Okay, in 2008, 2009.
I was like, I was still very young.
But still, like that, things have changed a lot.
And this kind of goes back to the other conversation that we were having is like, just because something is the way it is doesn't mean we should just like settle and be okay with it. Like, and this is another, like I've always said, if I have children, like, don't get me wrong, I don't see a problem with when your kids get to be too much sometimes, throwing on a movie, letting them play a game on the iPad. Like, being a parent's hard.
Think about back in the 60s when your kid was being an asshole, you threw him out in the street and said, go play with your friends. It's the same shit.
That's what I said. I'm not going to ever like commandeer a parent for doing that. Or like when you're on the airplane and they're like, here's your iPad.
It truly is the same shit. And I'm cutting you off because I hate, and I disagree with any iPad parent. I think it's the worst fucking shit ever. I think it's very bad for the kid. But it's so hypocritical to say that like these parents are like not doing it enough parenting when like literally our parents
we watch movies, we watch TV.
I know, but we just got thrown outside. You know, go play with your fucking friends.
See, I even think about when I was really little and mom would tell me about like how I would be like crying or be really upset and she would literally just turn on Mary Poppins or turn on The Wizard of Oz and I would sit there and watch it and like chill out and she would have an hour to like do whatever the fuck she needed to do. But
like, there's nothing wrong. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
But
and like I said, I don't agree with any iPad parent. Please don't spew my words.
I think there's a line.
100%. 100%.
And that's where I feel like when you're like things have changed and stuff, I'm like, yeah, but I also don't see why kids can't still play the fuck outside. Go scuff your knees up. Go get dirt under your fingernails. Go use your imagination. Like, I feel like that was such a vital part of growing up and being a kid and letting your brain grow and expand. And if you're consistently in front of a screen and like, don't get, like we talk about, like people online interact and all these things and you build community. I'm not saying that like the internet sphere is the devil. But no, as a young brain,
I agree with you 100%.
You need to like be out in the world and in the sun.
A perfect example I always say is when I was a kid, you know, when I saw something cool on TV or whatever, my way of enjoying it was I would go outside. Like, okay, Minecraft, perfect example. It's a video game, and you could have as much whatever fun in the video game, and I think that's where a lot of kids, like, instead of like, you know, going outside and like what I would do, we would go outside and pretend to be builders, and we would chop down trees fakely, and you know, we would build like little sheds, and we'd pretend
all the forts we built.
Exactly, use our imagination. I think like games like Minecraft that a lot of kids play is the same thing. Like there's so much imagination that can be used, but there's no active, like, you know, they're not moving their body around. They're not getting vitamin D. You know,
and I think that's kind of.
I think mentally it's all there. Physically, it's very. There's not anything going on physically, and I think that's the problem.
I also just think it's good for kids to get out and like.
That's what I mean. Like it's really good for your body, good for your
soul.
Your soul, yeah, just to enjoy the world.
I've always said,
be healthy. That makes you feel good.
My children will play sports that they hate, and they'll finish the season, and they'll never go back, and they'll go to all the birthday parties, and they'll play outside, and they'll have bikes and scooters and sand pits and all that shit because...
You know what kids nowadays will do? They'll put on their...
VR.
They'll put on their new Apple Vision Pro headset, $3,500 Apple Vision Pro, and they'll pretend with all their little screens. They'll go... Have you seen all this stuff for the Apple Vision Pro? Because this is what I wanted to talk to you about in the car.
I've kind of seen stuff.
Emma, I have never been more disappointed in a product in my entire life.
What do you mean?
First of all, $3,500.
$3,500 for a face mask.
And some of the features, like I don't want to harp on it because it's, from a pure idea, it is fucking so cool, so genius. It really is just like technology of the future. It is so futuristic. And then I wish I could put it on. I was going to say, and then you put it on. I don't have $3,000. And then you watch videos of people reviewing these products. And it's just like, yeah, like you could do all of this with your cell phone. You just pull up your laptop. It's probably easier to pull up your laptop rather than putting this fucking bulky thing on your head. And I know we're probably going to have someone in the comments, Apple lovers saying whatever, but I
love Apple, but I would never buy one of those.
And it's the first gen product. Like it's a beta.
The first iPhone.
It's a beta product. And I truly think that, 4 or 5 generations down the line, I think this is a very interesting product that could be very fucking cool. I just don't, there's nothing of substance that it has right now.
Yeah.
And for such a large, Emma, you could get an Oculus Quest 3 for $500 that has basically everything the Apple headset has.
And I know nothing about any of that shit. Like,
and that's why I'm trying to explain it to you the best. But
I know what they are.
Yeah. And I have my Quest 2 over there. Loving it is kind of a stretch.
You play golf.
I play golf. That's literally it.
Aiden plays golf on his Quest 2, and that's all he does with it.
And it is, I didn't have to buy it. If I would never buy something like that just to play golf. It was a gift, thank God. But and I just think that's where VR and AR at right now. It's just something that you could put on for 20 minutes just to have fun, and then that's all it is.
But like, what else is it supposed to become?
It's supposed to become everything. Like, it's supposed to become your phone. It's supposed to become your computer.
So we're just gonna walk around with these things on our head all the time?
Well, and that's the problem. Meta came out with these sunglasses that are smart sunglasses. It's literally just a pair of sunglasses, but you can't put nearly as much technology in a pair of sunglasses as you can with. So like
it's gonna turn into Wall-E. Everyone walking around, or not Wall-E. What's the Meet the Robinsons? Everyone's gonna have the little bowler hats like stuck on their fucking face and like zombies.
My ideal AR VR scenario is contacts. If we could somehow get it to a contact, I think that would be fucking so cool.
That freaks me out. That's a Futurama episode.
But that would be swag as fuck.
I would never put those. I wear contacts every day. I would never put those in my eye. That would freak me the fuck out. Maybe I am a boomer at heart.
I think you are a boomer. And
I'm a tech freak.
Don't get me wrong. A lot of these kind of technologies have very scary implements. That,
I think that's where I'm just like, if the technology
it's Black Mirror shit. It's literally shit out of Black Mirror.
Then I'm all good. And I'm only 24. Like, I'm gonna be around when all that shit gets
definitely.
to like term. Like,
Definitely.
I will off myself. I'm not gonna live in some robotic, freaky fuck ass.
And I don't think it'll ever
future.
Be robotic. But like, if we're having a conversation right now, instead of me, if we're eating dinner, instead of me pulling up my phone and looking at a text I just got, it's just going to pull up in a screen on my contact.
So then every kid will cheat in every test. There will be no reason for school. Like,
and Emma, I thought every kid would cheat when AI came out, and now schools, even Maricopa just sent me a thing that a whole fucking email about how to use AI correctly and not plagiarize. Like, they will find ways to guide it so it's I don't know, they will put barriers on it.
God, I remember when AI came out, and I still to this day have never used ChatGPT.
It is very cool.
I know how to say it, but I have never used it. It freaks me the fuck out.
I haven't used it, I think, since like its original like spike, but I mean it is really fucking cool.
If I'm ever proud of something one day and I know I got an idea from a robot, I would be really pissed.
Well, I
would be less proud of myself.
I don't think that's what it's used for though. Like because at the end of the day, you have to give it an idea. Like, it doesn't come up with ideas.
I know, but I don't know.
Like, you have to give it a prompt for it to then start, imagining, or you could do better there, you could do better there. And I think the reason why I like it so much is because a lot of the things I like are ones and zeros and numbers and equations. And computers are, you can't get better than a computer at equations. You literally can't. So I don't know. When I hear Chat GPT, I just think of like the greatest mathematician.
I literally think of the creepy hat from Meet the Robinson with its own mind. And pretended it was a slave,
but it's funny
to take over the
when
world.
all of that was happening. People are saying all these things like, "Oh no, like AI is gonna ruin all these things. It's gonna ruin all these things," and then all these boundaries get placed, all these rules get put in, so it can't do that. And I feel like all of these AR, VR stuff, as it grows, as it becomes more scary, there will be more boundaries put in place.
I've seen too much Black Mirror.
And that's the problem, man. We're all scared of things that have never happened. It's just an idea that someone had for a TV show, and now it's ruining the future.
I just think we have so many issues that we focus on things like technology and whatever, and I
agree with you. I think technology is by far the...
Like, don't get me wrong, I love that, like, I'm not an idiot. I know that technology has, like, really helped push us in the correct direction in a lot of different spheres. Like, I'm not stupid. But I just think that, like, we're so wrapped up in this idea of, like, technology and more and making our lives simpler and not having to work so hard and being lazier and this, and that. And I'm like, again, my favorite saying, go touch fucking grass. Like, we are human beings. We need the sun and the outdoors and the air and all of these things. Sorry, I stepped on the table.
You're good.
Mic. But I'm like,
and
what? It freaks me out.
But I agree with you 100%. Like, I would, if I could have all of my computer stuff in a VR headset where I could go, on a walk or, go hang out outside and still have all of the ability, I think that's where I see the positive in it.
And I think that you are far and few between that think that way.
Yeah. But even... It's just
I'm not saying that everyone...
No, I'm agreeing with you 100%. But even when I'm almost disagreeing with what I just said, because even the product as itself right now, like, I could put on my Quest 2 and build like a workstation around me and have like all these different monitors, and it's cool. Like, I could have a large workspace where I could get up and I can move around, but it just feels so fucking tacky. It feels so... You just feel like a loser doing it. Like an absolute fucking loser.
And that's like, I am that person that, like, I still write shit on pen and paper. Like, I have my Apple Pen.
I fucking got my notes.
I was like, I have my Apple Pen. I have my iPad, but I still write things on pen and paper.
I've got a literal notebook of YouTube and podcast ideas with pen and fucking paper.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I will always in my heart say that, if you want to, work on learning something or memorizing something, writing it down is always the best way. It always will be. There will never ever be a better way to learn or memorize something. Like, if you like the Bart Simpson meme, sitting on the board writing the same thing over and fucking over again.
Oh my god, that makes me think of, so when I was in college, there was a class we had, and our midterm and our final was essentially the same thing. It was 5 essay questions.
Yeah.
And you had to write an entire page, and the class was... Fuck, I don't remember. Ownership and finance, maybe? But there was just so much knowledge, and our teacher only lectured. She was kind of like Jack Schultz in that sense. Jack Schultz was me and my brother both went to Metro in Denver, and Jack Schultz was our anthropology professor, and we both ended up having him like several years apart from each other, but he was a lecturer.
Can I confess something to you?
What? Did you never have that class?
I did, but I almost failed it.
Oh, everyone. Tyler and Austin both dropped out of that class. I got a B.
If it wasn't for Jack, I would have failed. Like,
did he save your ass?
He saved my ass. Like,
he's a good dude.
Emma, okay, this is getting really off topic, and I've never told anyone this because I just feel so bad about this, and it's such an awful thing I did. But
Did you cheat?
No. For 3 tests, and I didn't do really good on the first one, and I did all right on the second one. And the last couple units, I was just not understanding. I couldn't fucking get it. And I already had like a low D in the class, and I was like, it's not getting any better. So I didn't go. I get an email from Schultz. Hey, Aiden, like I really would like you to come in. Like I want you to take this, and like I'll give you the hour and a half or whatever to take this test. Like I really want you to pass my class. So
you're lucky.
So I went in, I took the test, and bro, I don't even know if I passed like the test. I think he just like was like, man, like just pass the class, like get on with your life. Like I think he just he liked me. But man, I felt so fucking awful. Like walking to take the test and then walking home back to my apartment, I was just like, wow, what have I done? Like, why would I I feel like such an idiot. And he's just, this professor, this 80-year-old dude is saving my fucking ass right now for no reason.
He was a G. He was a G.
Actually the coolest fucking guy ever, but continue.
Back to writing things down. It was a 5 essay question thing, and she was just like Jack. She just lectured. Miss Goldmeyer, Goldstein, something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she just lectured, and you took notes, and she would give you a study guide, essentially like the 5 essay questions that she was gonna ask.
Okay.
And nothing else. Like you kind of had an idea.
That's all you got for a study guide? Mm-hmm. Schultz didn't even do you that dirty.
It was rough. It was rough.
Wow.
And I remember I practiced 5 essays. So you're writing 5 essays in 3 hours. I did that test before that test 6 or 7 times.
Really?
And wrote and wrote and
Shit.
wrote, and
you
every
are
single
such
one of
a good student.
Every single one of my friends failed that test. I got an A.
Yeah, you're such a good student, guys. Emma, her whole life, Emma would.
Ooh, not in high school.
No, fuck you. You would take all of sorts of shit. You would show up to class high and somehow pass everything.
I'm really smart.
It is just the most frustrating thing. I had a couple friends in my grade too that we would just do the stupidest shit ever. Burke, perfect example. IB student, and we're getting lit every fucking night. He shows up to class the next day acing fucking trig as like a freshman. I'm like, what is happening?
I remember my senior year, I had statistics because I essentially leveled out of math, and I didn't feel comfortable taking like pre-calc and all that stuff in high school. I wanted to just start all the heavy stuff in college. Yeah. But I wanted to have 4 years of math. And so I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to take stats. It's an easy math class. Like all the delinquent kids take it. Like,
yep.
I'll be fine. So I take this class. I had it with Tyla.
Yeah.
Old friend of mine. And I think for 2 months straight, we had the class twice a week, 3 times a week, whatever the fuck it was. I think for like 3 months straight, I just simply didn't show up.
Really?
I just didn't go. And I don't mean like occasionally went and like didn't know. I just simply did not show up for months. Months. And then I think it was like a month before the quarter ends and you're kind of fucked, right? And so I was like, all right.
Yeah, I gotta go now.
Gotta go to class. And I remember going in and being like, I've missed 2 tests or like 2 quizzes or whatever. I need to retake them. I do all of it. I do this, and that. I take the final, and I ended the class with like an 89. And I remember Tyla being like, you're a fucking piece of shit.
You.
She's like, what do you didn't even go. She's like, you don't even go.
Yeah, like that's actually not fair. Like it's just not fair, man.
I
have to work my ass off for B's.
In college, mind you, like I won the award. I had a 3.9 GPA or 3.7 when I graduated, something like that. But college was hard for me. Like I worked.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Fuck
I also
you.
I'm smart, so it's not like
I won an award and everything, but like college was hard for me.
I'm just trying to give myself some credit because at college I didn't slack off and just attend and do good. No, I worked really hard in college.
Emma, I'm not dogging you when I say you just show up. But in high school,
I did that. I did just show up and was fine. But in college, I couldn't just show up and be fine. Like I really had to bust my ass.
And I think that goes with any, if you're going towards a major or whatever. Like that's an actual degree. Like you can't get away with pussyfooting through a fucking degree. I mean, some of them, sure, but maybe some of them, but all my communications majors out there, how
all the marketing, all the business students, what's up? That's what Jackson says all the time. He's like, I didn't know what I was doing, and like he likes art, so he was like, all marketing, like graphic design, whatever, and then like. Some of his classes were very hard. I have to give him some credit because he really struggled through some of those. But others, I was just like, you're paying for this?
Like, what are you doing, man?
What is your degree even in? Like,
that's how I feel about, like, a communications degree. Like, what the fuck? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? Like, I can understand if, like if you're taking like a niche, so I said niche. If you're taking a niche major, like some like other country or whatever, like you're learning about some other country for your studies.
International affairs.
That's respectable because you could do something with that. You could go take
political
that knowledge.
Science.
What the fuck are you doing with the communications?
Look up on your phone right now what jobs you can get with a communications major.
That is actually genius. Phil, while I look this up.
Back to Power Hour with Emma. How's everybody doing? Today it's Thursday. Oh my god, guys, it's spring. It's almost spring. It's feeling like spring here in Arizona. It's been like 70 something degrees the last couple days. Loving it. I'm in a tank top. I wear a tank top to work.
I've got the results.
Communications. Okay.
I've got the results.
Over the weather. Back to Aiden.
Okay.
Aiden, you're on.
A number one job listings for communication majors is a senior editor/writer that's a part-time job. This one is a writing specialist for Office of Communications. And then media relations specialist. Like what
are those jobs?
I don't know. You look into that. I just don't understand. Like that's not even like therapy, is that? Like I can understand.
Communication majors study mass media, technical communications, and advertising. They learn how to write press release forms, long-form articles, and technical documents. In communication
so it's like journalism.
Students strengthen their writing and communication skills to prepare them for careers in growing industries. So it is like journalism, but it's not. It's more like communications with the masses and not writing.
Okay. Is ridiculous that's a major. Ridiculous.
But I also think like communications majors are like ants. Like they all are like flies. Everyone's like they're just so fucking insignificant. Like get rid of it. And then I feel like it's a massive part of the food chain that like we don't really realize is a massive part of the food chain. Like that would just like crumble the entire thing. You know what I mean? Like
I guess, but fuck me. I say get rid of the journalists. There's no way. Emma, journalism nowadays is fucked. What people do for journalism is sad.
You don't read proper journalist then.
No, I'm talking about for solely my interests. The journalism doesn't exist.
Well, no.
Ludwig is the best journalist, and he's a fucking YouTuber.
Well, no one's writing about the stuff. I mean, like, you should go read, like, F1 articles and, like, that kind of stuff. Like, that's journalism.
I still think it's
sports
so
journalism
fucking awful.
That's mean to say that all journalism has just become awful.
I read an article header, and it's literally just brain dead clickbait so that you read my article and get ad revenue.
Very much disagree. I just read the Miss Prada article, and it was one of the best written pieces of journalism I've read in a long time.
I'm not saying
fabulous piece of work.
I'm not saying it doesn't exist. But majority of the stuff I see...
like the New York Times. Like
majority of the stuff I see is very fucking... It's almost like they don't care about their job work. Like they just throw a bunch of words on a paper so they could get paid. That's exactly what it feels like.
I feel like that's really rough to say. To say like all of it is that.
No, I'm just saying, once again, for my sphere, that's literally, in any person in my sphere would say the exact same thing, because it's been a meme for years now that journalism is fucking awful.
And that was my original plan, was to be a journalist. I really like to write, so I feel like I have to stand my ground with when you're hating on.
I'm not hating on it
writers.
as a major or a profession. There you go. I'm not hating on it as a profession. I'm hating on the people that pretend like they are professionals.
But that's just a blog post at that point. That's not journalism. It's not like a publicized piece of writing.
They are, Emma. They are public pieces. They were publicized.
But
everything.
Publicized by who? Then don't read those stupid sites.
I don't know what to tell you, Bean. It exists.
Read a newspaper or a magazine. Read actual pieces of writing. Not of shitty blog posts done by XX child killer XX.
That's not it. And these, it is insane that you think that that's not journalism. It's the saddest fucking shit ever.
Well, what you're talking about isn't journalism at the end of the day. It's not. It's just that's bad writing. But
so if it's a bad article, it's not considered journalism.
Well,
if someone does it bad, if I play hockey bad, I'm not playing hockey.
You go so far off on the deep end when I say shit like that.
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm not. I'm saying that if you're talking about whatever bullshitty pieces of whatever that are writing and they're just not good, I wouldn't call that journalism. I would just call that writing. You're just writing something bad. That doesn't make it journalism. You put no real research or effort or time into your article. It's just a bad piece of writing.
Every single piece that gets called journalism that I see is fucking that. Awful pieces of thrown up words on a paper.
And that's what I was saying. Is I'm not saying you're not writing. I'm just saying I believe journalism and just writing are different things. I believe a lot goes into journalistic efforts.
And I do too.
Research and interviews and time and writing and editing and rewriting.
When someone like Ludwig puts in a fucking 2 weeks worth of effort to get an interview with the CEO of a company and does it all that is very respectable journalism.
Of course.
Very respectable.
Absolutely.
And I will subscribe, and share that all day. What I won't do is pretend like all these other people are doing something productive.
And that's where I'm saying that I don't believe that's journalism. I just don't.
And I agree with you. I think it's fucking bullshit that these people consider themselves journalists.
Now, I do understand that there are certain times when journalists have to write click pieces and this and that and whatever. They don't really have a choice because it's their job, right? And they're working for a magazine or a newspaper or whatever that requires them to do that. But I do think even in those whatever click pieces, like I said, the research, the time, the effort, the editing and rewriting and the interviews and the coffee dates that you take to pick people's brains and the notes and all of that, I think is what actually requires a piece of journalism.
Yeah. And I agree with you.
I'm gonna write a piece of journalism on your stuff now.
I can't.
What do I need to write about? I'm gonna do it.
You know what? I'm going to give you an epic challenge.
All right. Challenge accepted. What is it?
There's a major in Copenhagen for Rocket League.
Okay. You want me to write an article about it?
I want you to write an article about it.
When is it?
2 weeks, I think.
I was like, if it's when I'm in Costa Rica, I am not watching it.
It's in 2 weeks, yeah. Oh, if you're here, I will be watching it. So you will see it.
No, that's fine. We can watch it together. But I was just saying, I'm not going to spend time on my vacation to watch a 2-hour Rocket League match. It's not happening.
And I'm actually excited for that because I think this is
I love Copenhagen. So
yeah. And I think this is going to be the first time where you actually, because in Rocket League, as sad as it is to say, it's not really a tier 1 esport.
That's the only one I can get down and dirty with. I'm sorry, you won't get me on any of your other
and
esports.
Emma, I agree with you 100%. And I think it's so sad that, the regionals that I was just watching last weekend, Rocket League is so small that those guys don't even get a venue to play at. They have to play out of their homes for regional. But, in a game like League of Legends, they get a full fucking stadium venue, fucking flights out there and everything. Rocket League just isn't that tier 1 yet. It's just not there.
Wild.
And I think, and now that we're, with Copenhagen, and you could see like how much energy, especially Europe. Europe is ridiculous with Rocket League. They fucking love Rocket League. I don't know why, but I'm really excited for you to actually like see, like, it's the energy is ridiculous. It actually is fucking ridiculous, and I tell myself all the time, like, this is for car soccer. We're playing car soccer right now, and we've got pull of like 6-7 digits. Like,
that's wild.
It's fucking wild. Like, it's just so, I think it's so cool, the things, like, all of it was just an idea a human being had, from the game to the computer that the game is played on to the venue that they're playing in. It was just all an idea that a human had, and it gets turned into like these fucking epic things. I think it's so cool. I think it's so fucking cool. I'm sounding very autistic right now.
Nerd out, bro.
Yeah,
Nerd out.
I think it is so fucking cool.
I love that for you. You know what I think is cool?
Huh.
The dress from Tom Ford.
That dress was pretty swag. Emma, could I shit on who was the first guy that you
Mason Margiela that we watched today?
Yeah.
MM6.
No. It was Moschino.
Oh yeah, you didn't watch MM6.
Let me rip on Moschino real quick.
Okay.
Emma, no, can I just say, because you came over and showed me the coolest.
Okay, yes, I was just about to say, like, that show was a morning of Jeremy Scott for me, like, heavily.
You showed me the coolest pieces of actual art, like literal art, and I'm like, oh fuck, like this actually might be a cool show. And Emma, it was the exact opposite.
I told Clay I have to show you that show just because it made me sad.
Yeah, I was kind of bummed. I was actually kind of bummed. I was like, oh my god, I think I'm getting it. I think I'm getting it.
Jeremy Scott is one of my favorite, just people, honestly, in the industry. He's just got such character and such a story and such life behind him and his designs and his art, and he's never let anyone tell him that he's not good enough or that his clothes are too much or what the fuck ever. He just always was that, and he really like rebranded Moschino to become this fun and lively and just crazy outlandish brand.
The shit you were showing me was really cool.
The bags and the perfume bottles and all of the things that came out of there was just so fun, like, and enjoyably crafted. It was so beautiful. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't even look to see who replaced him as the creative director. But when that fucker walked out with his dog, I was like, I don't think I love this brand as much as I did. And when that happens, when a creative director leaves and whoever comes in just doesn't do it like their work justice, it's such a fucking bummer, because you remember that the brand isn't the brand, it's the creative director. The brand is whoever is making the clothes. It has nothing to do with the higher ups. It has nothing to do with whatever. Like, I guess they like provide you the money and kind of give you a set of rules, but at the end of the day, they bring in the creative director for their creative direction.
Definitely.
And like, it's just such, like, when Virgil passed and Off-White kind of, even like Pharrell taking over Louis Vuitton men's, it just like, he did a decent job, but it just, to me, like,
doesn't feel right.
No. And you didn't even like the guy who was designing before Jeremy, and I can't fucking remember his name right now. Jeremy Scott definitely took it in a different way, but it was so seamlessly done. It was so like, it was a good wave of transition. Because of course you're going to do your own thing, but you have to make it palatable for your consumers and the people that love all of this stuff.
Oh, definitely.
And today was not palatable. Today I wanted to spit out everything I was fed. Like,
it was just kind of sad, man. It was
boring.
Yeah, boring.
It was
a
boring.
Perfect example. It's just bland, boring.
There were a couple pieces that I was like, oh, I do like that, or oh, I do like that, but nothing made me like jaw on the floor, be like, oh my fucking god, that was so cool. Like,
his show wasn't the one where
the question marks.
Is that the one where he stole the tie?
Oh! My phone's over there, so I can't pull her name up, but I'm going to tag her right here. This is her name, okay? This girl is a designer that I've been following on TikTok for a while, and she makes these tie tops.
Yeah.
She makes them out of vintage ties. They're like all intricately done. And insert picture. I have to give her so much credit because I'm so mad right now. And Moschino stole the top.
Yeah, you literally, Emma's like, and I was like, I barely even understand what's going on in the first place, and I'm like, okay, maybe she saw something really cool, so I need to like focus. I need to focus. I said, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, and then she's like, that's stolen, and I was like, well, oh, that was not that. So you're having the opposite reaction right now.
I am upset.
I was like, she's mad. She's not happy. She's very mad. And
it was, I kid you not, the exact same top. When I
put them up on screen, I'll put them side by side.
It was the exact same fucking top. Jeremy would never steal an idea from a small brand like that. That's so cheap. Yeah. That's so cheap. And I hate noticing when that happens because I expect H&M and Forever 21 and all these garbage cans, to do that. You know, like, because that they're just fast fashion. They're pushing things really fast or whatever. It's happened a million times. I totally get it. But to see some luxury brand that like you have ateliers, you have people who hand sew and handcraft, and you're hired for your ideas and your designs, and you're gonna go steal them from small designers. And he didn't even show out. He hid it under a blazer.
Yeah.
And I saw it again in the show, and I was like, just credit where credit is due, to be quite honest. Like, you have no business. And that's her whole shtick, is these tie designs. So for you to take everything from her, because everyone knows who you are. Everyone is going to be talking about Moschino. And then they'll see her and be like, oh, it was a ripoff. When in reality, you ripped her off. You just have more money and more clout and all of these things.
That's the shitty thing. These big companies could do shit like that and just get away with it. It fucking pisses me off, man.
I'm like, sir, you have no business. You're actually just a sellout. Like, if that's what you're going to do, you have no business taking the throne after Mr. Scott. You just simply don't.
Talk your shit, Bean.
A man full of original ideas. And he didn't. And
I'm actually gonna put a couple on screen here because some of the shit he makes is fucking cool.
The McDonald's stuff,
yeah, it's fucking cool.
The rapper dresses, like, they were just so good.
It's art. It's actually art. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, some of the stuff I see when you're like, yeah, this is cool. I'm like, what?
Zendaya at the Dune premiere.
Yeah, that had me a little questionable. But
that was sick.
And I can understand how it's cool. Like, I get it. But
and it was for the Dune.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I get it. But me personally, I just don't like stuff like that.
I was so sick.
The Scott pieces, like the McDonald's stuff and the Hershey's or whatever.
Yeah, the Hershey's Kiss dress. Or the Hershey's bar.
It's just cool. Like, it's just fucking cool.
It's really cool. But yeah, I was really, really, really bummed today. And I cannot wait to start watching whatever Jeremy does on his own and get to see him in that light, because I miss his work, and today was a bummer. I don't even know who the fucking guy is, but I don't like him.
Yeah.
I didn't even look up his name.
Well, do you want to end on that bummer? We started with Milan?
Yeah, we start with Milan and end with Milan.
We started with Milan, and we're going to end with Milan. We didn't talk about a whole lot this episode. We just kind of ranted about, like, technology and
fashion.
Yeah, and fashion.
We got both of our worlds.
Yeah,
in this
a little bit of both. That was a fun one. I like that.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, squad. We'll see you next Tuesday. Hope you enjoyed. Sunday episodes are going to start being a thing here soon.
Oh yeah, we're going to try our best to get multiple episodes out, because we realize that, you know, maybe one episode a week when you're trying to grow a channel is maybe not the best thing ever.
It's not enough.
Yeah.
So we're going to get Aiden on the vlog grind. We're going to have some silly freaking vlogs coming out on Sundays. Just some short and sweet, fun little episodes, easily digestible.
Maybe some cooking stuff in between.
Yeah, we see us cook. Maybe we'll watch a race.
If anyone makes it to the end of this episode, give us some ideas.
Yeah,
what
do you want to see? What do you want to hear us talk about? Spill the beans.
Spill the
beans.
beans.
Tell us what you want to hear.
Yeah.
All right.
We hope your Tuesday or whatever day it is for you is wonderful.
Go back to work. Go back to school. Back to school. Go back to laying on your couch, eating Cheetos. Live your best life. Peace out.
People, bye. Bye.